Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this lovely little octopus. They're super cute, they're really easy to make. So what we're going to need for this tutorial is your yarn, either eyes that you can stick in or just a black yarn to embroider your eyes, a yarn needle, scissors and some stuffing material. So we're going to start by making a magic ring. This is how I make mine. If you want to make this hanging loop, then you want to leave a little bit of a longer tail because we're going to use this as the hanging loop. So get your yarn between your fingers. Grab your yarn, pull it up to make a loop. Insert your hook from the front. Grab your yarn, turn your hook down and twist through the loop. That's your magic ring. We're going to chain one to secure it. And we're going to place 6 single crochets inside the ring. To single crochet, you're going to insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through, so you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's your single crochet. So we need 5 more. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So now we're going to grab the little tail and pull to close the ring. And to complete our first round, we're going to slip stitch into the first single crochet of that round. So insert your hook under both strands of the yarn, yarn over, pull through, and just pull straight through. So that's our round 1. The next round we're going to place 2 single crochet into every single stitch here. We'll end up with 12 stitches. So to get onto yarn round 2, just make chain 1 and now put 2 single crochets into each stitch. So we're gonna do a single crochet and then another one into the same space. There. Under the next stitch and second one into the same space. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And now we're going to slip stitch again into the first single crochet of that round. That's our round 2. Round 3, chain 1. In round 3, we're going to alternate a single crochet and a single crochet increase. So we'll start with a single crochet in our first stitch and 2 single crochets into our next stitch. And again, just the one here and 2 into the next one. And a single and double. and we'll end up with 18 single crochets at the end of the round. Oops, I lost that one. So at the end of this round we'll have 18 single crochets, and again slip stitch into the first single crochet and chain one. For the next 2 rounds we're just going to make a round of single crochets, so 18 single crochets. Then you're going to slip stitch and chain one and another 18 single crochets. So I'll do that and I will see you then. So I'm now at the end of my second round of single crochets, so I'm just going to slip stitch and chain one. In the next round we're going to place 2 decreases into our round. We're going to make this first single stitch a decrease, and then halfway here another one. So after 8 single crochets we'll place another decrease there. So to do a decrease, we've chained one, insert your hook under the first stitch and yarn over and leave your loop on the hook. Now insert your hook under the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. Now you've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. That's our first decrease. Now we're going to carry on with single crochets until the halfway point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, and now we're going to do another decrease. So insert your hook, yarn over and go under the next stitch, 2, and now we're going to pull through all 3. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. So we started with 18, now we've done 2 decreases, so this round we'll finish with 16 stitches, and again slip stitch into the first single crochet. So our next round is going to be all decreases, so from 16 stitches we'll go down to 8 stitches. Now this is going to make this hole quite a lot smaller now, so what I like to do now, I like to make my loop now, my hanging loop, because it's going to be quite tight after we finish the next round. So I'm just going to make my hanging loop now. If you don't want a hanging loop, just tidy up this end, just weave it through. So if you are doing hanging loop, pull it through the other side. Now pull it back through the same hole, but I just stick a couple of fingers, depending on how big you want it. I only want a little one, so I'm going to keep this loop on my fingers and just go round the center to weave in the end a couple of times. Maybe 3 stitches. And then I'm just going to make a knot. So go through like so, and again go through the loop to make a knot, and then you can cut the yarn off, and that's our hanging loop ready. Okay, so now onto our round of decreases. So all the stitches will be decreases. Hang on, did we chain 1? No, chain 1. And now decrease all the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And again we're going to slip stitch into our first single crochet. So we should end up with 8 stitches now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we're going to make the tentacles. The tentacles, each tentacle, we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now into the second chain from the hook, we're going to do a single crochet, another single crochet into the next one, another one into the third one, and now we're going to do a couple of slip stitches. So just insert your hook, slip stitch, and into our last one, and now we slip stitch back into where we started from. That's our first tentacle. Now go under the next stitch and slip stitch there, and again onto our next tentacle. So chain 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, single crochets back into the first 3 stitches. So ignore the first one, get into your second one, single crochet, another single crochet, one more, and now 2 slip stitches, 1, 2, and back into the main body, slip stitch there, and now slip stitch under the next stitch. That's our second tentacle. Next one, 6 chains, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 single crochets back, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch and slip stitch and slip stitch back into the body and slip stitch under the next stitch. Okay, there's our 3. I'll let you carry on and I'll catch up with you when I've got 8. So I've finished my 8th tentacle, and to fasten off we're just gonna yarn over, pull through, leave quite a bit of tail here to sew the middle if you want to, and pull through. There we go. The tentacles are a little bit fiddly toward the end because you're running out of space, but it doesn't matter. So now either insert your eyes or take your black yarn and stitch them in. I'm going to be stitching them in. So thread your needle, make a knot, and we want our eyes to be quite low down, so quite close to the tentacles, so across this row here. So I'm going to put them right here. You might want to go back and forth a couple of times. That's 1. Now leave about 4 stitches and go around the other side of the head. And 1 more time. Yep, they're looking good. Now turn your octopus inside out and just go under one of the stitches and make a knot there. Where is my end? That didn't work. I've left it too long. Oh, it did. Here we go. Just make a knot and maybe another knot just so it doesn't come undone. There, go back in through the loop. There we are. Now cut that yarn off. There we go. So now we're ready to stuff our octopus. So get your stuffing and whatever you might be using, and stuff your octopus body. Try to pack it in nice and tight, so there's plenty in there. There we go, that's looking good. And now for the stopper. So we can either just, that's why I said leave your tail long. If you want to grab your needle and just sew it in tight like so, or you can make a stopper, which is what we're going to do now. It's a little stopper. All it is the first 2 rounds, so 6 single crochet and then single crochet increase. You can make a little stopper just to stuff inside the octopus, which looks pretty but can come out. I don't think it will, but if you wanted to just sew it in, you can sew it in. For this tutorial I'm going to make the stopper, but you could just thread this yarn and sew it on the inside. So the stopper, like I said, is going to be just the first 2 rounds. So make your magic ring, and do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Tighten your ring. Do a slip stitch into the first single crochet. Where are we? That way. Let's twist it up a bit. There we go. There we are. Now chain 1, and we're just going to do a round of increases. So put 2 single crochets into each of the stitches. Last 2. And again slip stitch into the first single crochet. Okay, now pull through and cut your yarn. Pull your yarn through. So we can now bring these 2 yarns together and then tighten them, or I'm just going to tighten them now because it's going to be inside the octopus. You're not going to see that. So just make a knot and cut off the ends. And that is our stopper, so we're going to just stuff it inside the octopus. There. And now we just need to, if you didn't end up using your end, just cut it shorter and just hide it inside the octopus. I'm gonna just actually I'll take this out. I'm just going to go through another stitch. And then just go through the octopus and hide it inside. There we go, cut it off and replace our stopper. And that's our octopus ready. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next video.